Hey, Brendon, good to see you again.
Scott, how are you?
Hey, I was just in Central Park, and I saw the ancient Egyptian obelisk that was brought here back in the 1800s. And one of the things I learned is that the Freemasons were involved in getting it over here from Egypt. And you being a New York Freemason, I thought, who better to ask?
Absolutely. I was brought over here by a fellow brother, Henry Honeychurch Garinge, who of course is a Freemason. It was a Herculean task, weighs over 200 tons, and it's about 70 feet tall.
Henry Honeychurch Garinge was a Civil War veteran and a lieutenant in the United States Navy. He arranged a furlough just so he could lead the effort to bring the obelisk from Egypt to New York's Central Park.
Why don't we walk over here to Lady Liberty for a comparison?
Okay. Well, there she is, Lady Liberty. I never get tired of looking at her.
Likewise. You know, some differences. The obelisk is 70 feet, and Lady Liberty is 305 feet. Liberty was sent here in over 200 cartons. Meanwhile, the obelisk was sent here in one piece.
You know, that's amazing. Think about it, 200 crates, and then she was assembled, and the obelisk was brought over in one piece.
Around 96th Street, they had built a trestle bridge, and it was only used for that one time.
Just for the obelisk, to get it to Central Park.
Exactly right.
Wow. So there was a lot of money spent.
A little over $100,000, and William H. Vanderbilt funded the entire thing.
The Vanderbilt family, they were the ones that made their money in the railroad business. When Cornelius Vanderbilt died, he left his son William $100 million. That would be worth $2 billion in today's dollars. Today, there are still a couple Vanderbilts in the public eye. Fashion designer Gloria Vanderbilt and her son, journalist Anderson Cooper. But the question is, why would a family founded by railroad tycoons pay a fortune to bring this obelisk to America? So that begs a question. Do we know if William Vanderbilt was a Freemason?
There are many that speculate that he was, but it's an unanswered question.
But his father was, right?
From what we're told, yes. You know, ironically enough, most of the famous Freemasons are publicly known, but some of them, when you start searching and looking for it, they kind of don't show up.
You know, Brendon, when you think about this, to bring a 200-ton massive piece of stone over from Egypt here to America, that was an engineering marvel that Garinge did, and involved some pretty fantastic elements of geometry and mathematics. And these concepts were very important to the ancient Egyptians, of course, and to modern Freemasons.
Exactly right.
So how did they get these two obelisks to England and the U.S.?
Well, here, let me show you.
Ah, okay.
This is the transportation of the England obelisk. Well, Freemason John Dixon, who was an engineer by trade, designed this submarine-like vessel. This vessel was actually towed behind a much bigger ship. Storm hit them in the middle of the voyage, and this sunk to the bottom of the Biscayne Bay.
You're kidding. How'd they get it up?
The towing ship Olga had to come back and save them, and 6 sailors were lost.
Really?
Absolutely, yes.
How long did it take for them to get this up? It sank to the bottom,
Within
right?
4 to 5 days after that happened.
It's amazing that it even survived. So how'd they get the American obelisk over here?
Honeychurch Garinge actually bored a hole through his vessel because the obelisk was too long to fit within it. Then they back welded around the encasement of it, and they transported that all the way across the Atlantic Ocean.
So the obelisk was sticking out the front of the ship.
Absolutely.
Brendon, this is really an incredible story. Egypt allows 2 important obelisks standing in the front of the temple at Heliopolis, one to go to England, one to come to the United States. But if you stop and think about it, this was one of the most amazing engineering feats of the time.